Ever since we opened our doors in 1964, Davis Ford in Fulton has been committed to providing the highest level of customer service and customer satisfaction. That level of commitment is shown in our 18 Ford President's Awards for overall customer experience. Whether you're looking for a tune-up, a trade-in, or a new F-150, the team at Davis Ford is here to serve you. Come see us today in Fulton. Call us at 662-862-3711 or visit us online at davisfordsales.com. Davis Ford, small-town dealership, small-town prices.
And welcome back to the Davis Ford pregame show. We are now joined by head coach Sean Cannon. Well, Coach, it's an exciting week. We get our first home game. Got a good Gulf Coast team coming in, of course. But let's talk a little bit about what we can build on from last week, moving into this week, and coming into that exciting atmosphere here in Fulton.
Yeah, you know, we're excited to get to play our first home game in front of our home crowd, band, and you know, our fans and everything, and you know, I guess you go back and look at last week. What can you learn from? Is play better. You know, just when you have so many kids that are new to college football, and you know, it went from the last 3 weeks of what I've been preaching to them is, you know, it's just different. They all think in their mind that they know how it's going to be, and when they get out there, it's something totally different. And you know, and you can use that as an excuse. No, I mean we did not play very well in either side of the ball, and you know, and so hopefully we learn from, you know, the game experience. You know, hopefully learn from things you can't do, and put yourself in a hole. You know, so you know, hopefully our kids have, and I think they have this week. I think they've have bought into us getting focused on what we need to be focused on, and hopefully our practice this week will hopefully show up in a game, you know, against Gulf Coast. But we are excited to get there and not have to pack a bag, and we come right outside our locker room and hang a left instead of getting on a bus. And so I know our kids are excited for that.
Okay, well, now talking about getting these kids prepared, talk about preparing them for this home atmosphere, because as you know and all these sophomores know, it's loud and our fans are here and they're showing out. Well,
it goes back to the same thing. You know, they're not going to know till they experience it. You know, now they've been on the practice field and heard the band, you know, up on their practice field, but not right behind them. You know, not walking in, and last week, you know, they were in the stands getting ready for their, you know, where they go and sit down doing their little pregame rituals, and you know, and so it's nothing you really prepare them for. They have to experience that too, you know, and but I think you know, our older kids have kind of told the young ones, you know, this is kind of what it's going to be like and everything, and so hopefully we'll embrace that atmosphere, we'll embrace that home field, and maybe it will give us that extra spark that we need.
Okay, well, let's talk a bit about our opponent tonight in Gulf Coast. They're coming off a loss as well, and they had a hard-fought one up at Northwest where their quarterback, I think he had 2 receivers go over 100 yards, and he had a good night as well. Just talk about some of the challenges that Northwest offense is going to bring to our defense.
Yeah, you know, Gulf Coast, you know, not really familiar opponent. I think the last time we played them was 17, I believe, and you know, and so they have not been around on our schedule here in the last, you know, 4, 5, 6 years, and you know, and so it's not necessarily, you know, a team that we're, you know, year in and year out that you're familiar with. But you know, going back and watching some last year's tape that they had, and then this year's game against Northwest, you know, huge offensive line, probably the biggest offensive line we'll face all year. You know, 351, 6'7" at tackle, you know, 330 at guard, centers 350. I mean, they will be a massive front, you know, to have to go against. Quarterback, it looks like he's real athletic, you know, on film, lefty, you know, that's a little bit different. Most of the time you don't see a lot of lefty quarterbacks, but he's a lefty. Receivers, not real big, 5'10", 5'9", but really, really fast. You know, they try to get them the ball in space and try to let them make a play. Tight ends, they play 3 of those. 2 of them look like offensive linemen and those with number. You know, big kids there, and the running back's a really good kid from Picayune. I know he played last year there, just kind of reading up on him, you know, first of the week, and you know, number 0. And the thing about it is they play a lot of multiple tight ends, but their receivers 1, 6, 4, 10, they're in the game pretty much all the time. They don't rotate a lot of those guys. Those guys stick in there with them pretty good. 0 and 11s are running backs that they play, and so very multiple. You know, a lot of formations. You know, a lot of bunch formations into the boundary and things that'll make you have to think a little bit. And you know, but I think they want to try to establish the run game, and that's what they did a pretty good job up against Northwest. You know, and then defensively, a lot of man coverage. You know, that's kind of what they've been known for over the years. A lot of man coverage, get up in your face, and you know, try to you know, disrupt the timing of the offense. You know, put 6 in the box, and if you add another guy in the box, they're going to add another guy. You know, just try to match you up. And really talented on the D line. You know, they're pretty athletic at defensive end, and you know, pretty much same scheme we see week in and week out, just maybe not as much zone as we will get man. And so we'll have a big challenge here on both sides of the ball.
Okay, well, let's talk a bit about our guys offensively and defensively, and what we look to do and what we're going to try to do to slow down or to stop their offense and take advantage of any gaps they do have in defense.
Well, you know, it's about protection going offensively first. You got to protect the quarterback, and you know, and I thought last week if we did have a bright spot, I thought our quarterback was protected for the most part. You know, and we got to be able to hit the holes. You know, when you play that type of defense, and guys are responsible for people, not necessarily an area, more of a man, and that man goes in a certain area, and they leave that gap that they're supposed to be covering to cover a guy. You got to make them pay for that. You know, and so we've got a few new wrinkles this week that we hopefully that will give us a little bit of advantage to try to help on some of those man coverage techniques, try to bunch some receivers and motion and things like that to help to help us get some space in our passing game. You know, defensively it's about tackling. I don't care what you run. You know, 4-man front, 3-man front, 7-man front, don't matter. If you're not tackling, and the thing that's so disheartening last week is the things that I talk about in preseason. First time their quarterback is ever going to be hit is when they play their first game. Every coach, I don't care from Notre Dame all the way down to junior high, you know, they're never going to get their starting quarterback hit in preseason practice. And that was the thing I challenged our defense. Can we get the quarterback on the ground? I think I counted probably 9 times we were back there around the quarterback and couldn't get him down, you know. And so it starts back to tackling. You got to game tackle, you know, and you can't arm tackle. You know, I think a lot of them learned a hard lesson about the things that we preach on defense. You're never going to arm tackle anybody in this league. You know, high school, yeah, you got by with that. You can shoulder tackle. They're going to fall down, and you can go up there and sling them down. But these guys run with passion. You know, they run hard. They run with passion. And I think the lesson was learned, hopefully, that every time you get around him, you got to bring him. You know, and so that's where it really starts from. You know, and if you're not doing that and getting them into what you want to get them in, you know, and that's the thing. That's why Northwest had to come back on them. You know, Northwest missed a lot of tackles. You know, they kind of look like us a lot of times. You watch the film of having guys there and not getting him down. You know, and it's a lot of, I think it's a lot of guys trying too hard instead of just going back to your fundamentals. You know, muscle memory, how to tackle. It's just, you know, I don't want to mess this up, so they try a little bit harder, and then when you know, it's a, you know, formula for not real good, you know. So that's the thing we've emphasized a lot this week is getting them on the ground, make them snap it again, you know. And I think we went back and looked at, you know, yards after contact. It was unbelievable, you know, yards after contact. You know, we had people around the ball, and it's just got to finish, you know. And I think that's the thing that we've preached this week, just unlike we hadn't preached all the time, but. You know, I think now they've realized that, you know, coach is right. You know, we got to do the things we got to do to be good. You know, and so and hopefully we'll be able to do that, you know, tonight and give our fans and home crowd a great college game to witness.
Okay, Coach. Well, talking about tonight, I think you touched on some of it there. Just give me your Bank Okolona keys to victory.
Well, you know, you go back every week, and it comes down to 3 things. It's and I was asked this on a radio show a couple weeks ago, but you know, it comes down to number 1, third down, offense and defense. If you can stay on the field and not have to punt the ball, and you can convert and get first down, and you give yourself a better chance to put the ball in the end zone. But if you're 3 and out every time, you're never going. You know, I think we punted 8 times, something like that. You know, second thing is we got to tackle. You know, and we've got to break tackles offensively, and we've got to tackle them. You know, a 5-yard catch is okay as long as it's 5 yards only. A 5-yard catch, it turns into 20, is not good. And that's when you talk about conversion and you get them into what you want to get them into. And so, those are really two key things. It's third down offense and defense, and it's tackling and breaking tackles, on offense and defense as well, Then the third thing is it's the old biggest cliche in football, but you can't beat yourself. You can't go into a game and beat yourself. If you're going to lose a game, make the other team beat you. Not beat yourself. Don't help the cause, and I think that's one of the biggest things that and I think we were finding penalties last week. I think we had like 2 penalties, whatever it was, and the penalty game didn't get us like I'm talking about in that, but just beating yourself as far as when we're supposed to inside release at receiver, we don't outside release because the ball's not going to be thrown there. You're going to give the DB an opportunity to make a play. And I think that just goes back to first game jitters, whatever you want to say, and I think it's a lot of times where kids are in their mind thinking, hey, this is going to be just like practice, and it's not. It's not. I mean, it's a different deal when you go against somebody else, and and hopefully that moving into this game tonight will help us, get those out of the way, and we've got all the kinks worked out. Hopefully, no kinks ever going to get worked out, but hopefully that part of the game will be not as a big a factor as it was last week. And we got to coach better. That's the thing I told the kids on Friday when we met. Got to coach better. No kid ever loses a game. Coach loses a game. And I said, hey, the coach has lost this game. We have didn't get you prepared to play, and I'm the one that's got to be doing that. But the thing I also told them too is, people are looking at our score, and they've written us off. A lot of people's written us off already. And I told them, I said, that's going to be the first thing of every first ball game of the year. There's 7 winners or 7 losers. And so we're going to be one or the other, And I said, there's 7 other teams just like us, just like Gulf Coast. They're 0-1 as well, And I said, so when you look at what you got to do to be successful in this league, you got to fight, and not literally with your fist, but you got to fight with your play. And I think that's one thing that we've talked about this week, and hopefully the kids have bought in, because I told them, I said, look, this is the 25th year I'm doing this, and we've seen good, bad, and ugly, and so we got to be able to rise to the challenge. Don't listen to what everybody else is saying. Focus on you. Focus on this team, just like coaches, because you start reading a lot of that stuff, kind of like when, I guess it was last week I was reading about Kirby Smart talking about press clipping. You start reading your press clippings, you start to believe things. So focus on what you got to focus on to be the best you can be, and let's go out there and play the way we know we're capable of playing as coaches and players.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will be back with more of the Davis Ford Pregame Show here on the ICC Sports Network.
Ever since we opened our doors in 1964, Davis Ford in Fulton has been committed to providing the highest level of customer service and customer satisfaction. That level of commitment is shown in our 18 Ford President's Awards for overall customer experience. Whether you're looking for a tune-up, a trade-in, or a new F-150, the team at Davis Ford is here to serve you. Come see us today in Fulton. Call us at 662-862-3711 or visit us online at davisfordsales.com. Davis Ford, small-town dealership, small-town prices.